What's up, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today I'm going to do a quick overview of the Ascender Deluxe Hardcover from Image Comics. So join me. Alright, so what we're looking at here is the latest Deluxe Hardcover from Image Comics. This is Ascender, and you'll notice something that it's no volume number. Jeff Lemire, Dustin Nguyen right there, Image Comics, and then the back of the book telling you a little bit about what it's going on in this book, and then some praising for this title. Book is $49.99, and one of the most interesting things about this is, I didn't even see this, but it's labeled fantasy. Whereas if you go back to the Descender hardcovers, you can see that in the back, these are labeled science fiction. And yes, they are rated mature, so is Ascender. Now, this is really the third book of the series. This takes place 10 years after these books. So if you don't want to know anything about the story here, that I wouldn't even look at the pictures, honestly, because that may give away what happens here, especially with surviving characters. 10 years into the future, you never know who's going to show up. So maybe just skip into the build of the book when I talk about the build of the book. I hate for anybody to skip my videos, but I also respect those that don't want any kind of spoilers, because I do have to talk about the first couple of issues here that set up this particular world, and sadly, there are some spoilers for what happens here. Not heavy into details or anything, but pretty much who survives, who some of the characters are that survived this particular series. But yes, this is Volume 3, so on your bookshelf, they should look like this. Unless, put them in alphabetical order, then they look like this. But then again, you have a bunch of other Image Deluxe editions, then they'll look something like this. But anyway, on my shelf, that's how I'm going to keep them. As a matter of fact, I kind of like that this black spine is kind of sandwiched in between there. Alright, so let's crack this book open. Look at this beautiful artwork, because this Dustin Nguyen watercolor artwork is exactly what you're going to see here. Talk a little bit about the premise of the story here, and show the build of the book. Okay, let's go ahead and crack this book open. You're going to be hearing a lot of creaking. I noticed that with my Die Deluxe Edition too. I think the same printer that did that book did this one. So there was a lot of cracking whenever I was reading this. I could not wait to read this, by the way. And again, just in case you have not read Descender, there are going to be some spoilers of that. Minor spoilers, but still spoilers. Spoilers that you might even find on the back of the book, which I'm sure they tell you. So here we have Ascender, Deluxe Edition. Jeff Lemire, Dustin Nguyen are the storytellers. I love that they are credited as storytellers, not writer, penciler, and inker, painter, or anything like that. Steve Wan's doing the lettering and the design, Dustin Nguyen doing the cover, and Will Dennis is the editor. And kicks off with issue number 1 here. So, this collects the first 18 issues. Actually, I take that back. There's only 18 issues. This collects the entirety of Ascender. There is no follow-up to this. This is the end of the story as far as we know. 456 pages. So, the covers come textless. There's no Image logo on them. No credits. Just the issue number so you know where you are. I love this pattern right here of this particular character. Of course, this particular character is from the original Descender series. I'll tell you what, Tim 21. So, what is this story about? So, this takes place 10 years after the events of Descender. After the Galactic Council is done, after the planets have just kind of done away with mechanics and things like that, we've restored the world back to a much more simpler time. So, Tim 21 and all those folks, after everything that happened in those particular issues, that's when this takes place. So we see the arrival of this dragon, and inside of this dragon's mouth was this lady that is known as Mother. I love the fact that in this fantasy world, she calls her dragon a ship. She says, "My ship needs food, make sure to feed him." So here she's interrogating a prisoner, part of the rebellion squad, and this is a lot different than Descender. Whereas Descender was like a sci-fi story, this really does read like a fantasy story. We have witches, we have vampires here, we have magic, which was completely unheard of. And that's the world we're in. It's kind of crazy to think about that this is only 10 years after the events of Descender, but she's trying to talk to this corpse, trying to figure out who is leading this rebellion, who is this person that can use magic on their side, and to no avail though. Now that's where it begins, Ascender. So here is where we meet a young lady, and this young lady is our lead character here, and this is Mila. She's a 10-year-old girl, I would assume, maybe just a little bit older, that is the daughter of two surviving members of the original Descender series. So again, just minor spoilers, but it's Andy and Ellie's daughter. She spends her day exploring the world. She's trying to trade for magical items here, but this whole mother, like, cult, if you will, the people that are following her are kind of worshiping her, almost like a religion. They're trying to get rid of all these remains of the previous world. And so both her and her father, Andy, are in hiding. Now, we don't know what happened to Effie. You don't know if she's alive or dead, but I promise that by the end of the book, you will find out exactly what happens. There is a lot of heartbreaking things that happen here, so get those tissue boxes out too. Now, both of them are living in hiding. She's a lot like her parents. That she doesn't listen. She wants to keep exploring and go out into the wild and explore this planet Samson that was once one of the Galactic Empire's cities. Meanwhile, the witch, this mother, is talking to other witches. I love the way that they talk to each other here, cursing each other out. She wants to find out who is sending these messages, who is trying to go back to this particular world that existed before her. So, of course, this is when the journey begins. So Mila storms out of her house, and she just starts narrating her self-pity story. It's adorable. Anybody that has kids understands the way kids feel. Or, I guess, we pretend to understand, or try to understand as much as we can. So she's here moping about how she can never explore the world. She wishes she was born before this time, when they had spaceships, when they had robots. And then, coming crashing out of the sky, is this little guy right here. So you immediately know who this is because of the words Fra-Fra. Of course, because he has a little bit of a glitch, it's not Arf Arf. And that is, of course, Bandit. Oh, this is so cute. So Bandit is back. I said I would talk about the first couple issues, and that's it. So Bandit is back in a very Star Wars kind of way, because Bandit reveals, oh, this is such a beautiful moment. I love this. When Andy's just holding Bandit, and he's like, you found my dog, Mila? That is so cute. She thinks she's in trouble because it's a machine. And yes, they're still diving deep as to who is causing this issues, who is leading this rebellion, where's the rebellion hiding. Meanwhile, he's watching Bandit here, and he accidentally clicks on a little message, and it's a map. And it's a map to the stars. It's a star chart. So from this moment forward, their mission is to go and find a spaceship, to go and search out these particular stars. There's more to the mission than I want to get into, because this is a short overview of the book. I don't want to go into details about it. I think I've spoken enough. But man, this was such a blast. The characters that appear through here from Descender make a surprise return, and actually had me going, yes, at a couple of times. And then a couple of times, there are moments in here that I'm like, damn it, no. So it feels a little bit like Saga. Honestly, this to me feels like Star Wars, like the way that Star Wars, I think I had it in my head. The world of the sequels, 7, 8, and 9, where they left everything else behind, where they left this world of the mechanical world, of this sci-fi world, and we are now diving into the fantasy realm of things. But this is the type of artwork that you're going to be seeing through here, these beautiful watercolors. Each panel is done in this way, and I'm just showcasing a little more of this artwork. But that's pretty much it. That's exactly what you're going to get out of Ascender. And I'll be a little honest, I actually like this a little more than Descender. And it could be because I have 2 daughters now, and I immediately connected with Mila and her little misadventures and how brave she is. So, really enjoyed it. If you enjoyed Descender, you're going to love this. It's a little bit slower to get started, though. But once that journey starts, once you know where they're going, once you see these vampires come for Mila and her little bandit dog, and Andy take out the big gun, and he's like, I got your salvation right here. And you're like, oh my gosh, is he going to be on the whole journey with her? Are they going to make it? What's going to happen? You won't be able to put this down. I couldn't put it down. I read it all in one sitting. Loved it. Cover to cover. Speaking of cover to cover, let's talk about the extras in the build. I am sad to say that there are absolutely no extras, no sketches, no variant covers, but I don't know if there were any. I didn't get the series in monthly issues. It's just the end paper. That's it. There's nothing extra. And as far as the binding of the book, it is sewn binding, 456 pages, and that is what the eye looks like. The paper quality, I will say it's a little thinner than the paper stock that they used in Descender. Here, we'll go back to the beginning. And I noticed that because I had just... whenever I get a new book in, I want to go back and just kind of do a... What is it? What do I call it? I call it a memory trailer or something like that, where I go back and quickly flip through the previous volume so I remember what happened. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Oh, you hit the high points. And then I come back. I don't know if anybody else does that. I might be alone. But I come back to this, and I noticed that the paper stock was a little bit thinner. It is the glossy paper, and it feels like this was printed at the same printer that both Gideon Falls 2 and the Die Deluxe Hardcover were printed. So I did get like wavy pages at the beginning. Nothing towards the middle or towards the end. But, I mean, we get that in Marvel and big DC books too. And it does have the flat spine like all of Image hardcovers. But that's it. That, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this book, don't forget to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this deluxe edition. Let me know in the comments down below if you are picking it up, if you love Descender and want to get more out of that world, or if you've never read it. I'm curious as to those that have never read it and went straight with Descender. Anyway, leave your questions and comments down below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We are on Spreadshop and Patreon. Amazing ways to support the channel if you can do so. And more importantly, everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.